Hello, everyone. It's Charlton, and I want to just continue on the story of Mollie Tibbetts, the search for Mollie Tibbetts. They had a press conference this morning. The authorities did this time. I think at about 9 o'clock local time, which would be 10 o'clock on the East Coast. And I watched it, and I've reviewed it as well. They did not release any new information. However, the Public Safety Investigative Operations Director, Kevin Winker, here, who's spoken to the press previously in press conferences, he did take a lot of questions. Tom Kreigel, the sheriff of the Poweshiek County office, also spoke just briefly, and the family was there, and so. The very first question, I'll play a portion or two of it, but it's easier, I think, just to run through it as quickly as possible. What he was asked and some of his responses. There was a lot of information. There was, even though he basically said, I can't answer that because of the ongoing investigation in many of the instances. The very first question that was asked was about the red shirt, and that's because of yesterday, the large police presence off of Highway 21 in between Guernsey and Deep River, which is also very close to the hog farm that was searched and the pig farmer's house as well. As I understand it, there's an actual hog farm that they have searched that location, and the pig farmer who lives very close to that hog farm. Okay, and his house was searched, and investigators had questioned him. They brought him down to the police station or the firehouse. I guess in Brooklyn, Iowa. And spoke to him for like 2 hours. They took several photographs of the interior of his house as well as his garage, and they took his phone in possession for 24 hours overnight to analyze it. And I think they did this all without a warrant. I think both the hog farm and the pig farmer, those searches they were allowed by both properties, but I'm not totally positive of that. So. But the very first question was about the red shirt and whether or not they recovered a red shirt in their search yesterday, because it's been reported in multiple places, or at least on TV9, or no, on Fox News, that police were called to the location because somebody who was mowing, a ditch, came across a red shirt, and it may have been tied to Mollie Tibbetts. We've been told, it's been reported many times that Mollie Tibbetts routinely wore a red shirt to day camp. It was her work shirt, and that shirt is missing. So people have made the assumption, family members, that she may have gone missing the morning of Thursday, instead of the night when she was last seen, Wednesday night, and her laptop was at the boyfriend's house. She was dog sitting there. It was, reported that she was on her laptop into the night doing homework, and so forth. So, well, he was asked about the red shirt, and he basically he said he doesn't have any information on that. That's probably the one thing I'm going to play from the press conference. And he basically said, and he was asked, are there any suspects? And he naturally said, I can't comment on that. But he said, I'm not confirming that they did or did not find a shirt, but he just didn't have any information on that. So there was that, and then let me just quickly, and then by the third question, the second question was about the black sports bra, because initially, and in fact on the posters it says black sports bra, but it's now being said that she had a pink sports top. That's what she was last seen in. So the full poster's not here, and somebody was asking about that discrepancy and could he comment it, and he just wasn't sure. I mean, there's so much information that it's really difficult to piece together. And even at the end of this, after watching the press conference and just kind of reviewing some of the things that I've learned about it, it just gets really hard to kind of sort it all out. It really does. And for me, it always has been, was it somebody she knew or was it a stranger? And obviously I don't know, and I'm sort of leaning more towards stranger these days. So. But I'll talk about that quickly at the end. So the third question was, they just flat out asked him, and he almost just blurted it out, is Wayne Chaney officially a suspect? Wayne Chaney is the pig farmer, the man whose house was searched, who lives near the hog farm, and was questioned by police for like 2 hours. and who reportedly has a record of pleading guilty to stalking in two different instances in 2009 and in 2014. One in Poweshiek County, I think, and one in Marion County, if I got that right. So, and I played that full interview last night. This is the press conference. Again, I'll play a portion of that. So those two caught my attention more than anything else. But there was also other questions. They asked, would restarting volunteer searches be beneficial? Were there more tips coming in as a result of the reward being increased to $172,000 in the press conference that the family gave yesterday at 11 o'clock? And that was just prior to, when the police presence, was reported off of Highway 91. I think that was around 1 p.m. That's yesterday. So it was only 2 hours after the reward was announced, and increased to $172,000 for her safe return by the family at the press conference, along with Crime Stoppers, that the additional the red shirt search took place, if in fact it did. Number 5 or 6, sorry. Somebody asked, did they find any, or have they found any other articles of clothing and or physical evidence? And he couldn't comment on that. Are there no suspects, no persons of interest, no solid leads at this point? Same thing. He basically said, I can't say whether there is or is not. Are there any closer to solving this? He wouldn't answer that really. Was she abducted at the house or at large? And he said they're very confident of their timeline. So to me, it sounds as though they have a fair idea of where she was. In fact, to me, I believe it's the house. I do. And number 10, were leads produced from the reward producing anything significant? And number 11, was there a disturbance at the house? Again, he said he couldn't comment on that. And that question definitely wanted to know the answer to that. And I don't know. I'll talk about that at the end as well. Several. Was it a stranger abduction? Same thing. Just wouldn't give an answer. Can you confirm foul play? And he really wouldn't do that. How many are working the case? And one of the reporters actually said, "Why aren't you releasing more info? Maybe the press could help. How could that backfire?" And he basically said, "Parts of any investigation we hold very closely for good reason." And why tips? Why do they still want people calling in tips? And absolutely, he said. They're still getting to know Mollie, the investigators. Obviously, the family knows her and knows her routine. And then the same person who asked about the red shirt followed up with another question at the end, saying, the pig farm search, and they asked, could you confirm that? And asked if they've asked anybody that could be a potential suspect to take a polygraph, and he wouldn't answer that question. So in the comments of the same press conference at KCRG TV, the Facebook page where they had the live stream. One of the persons did comment, because there's a couple different, I think there's conflicting information in terms of the Fitbit. I've seen it discussed in comments that basically, they have the Fitbit data, and the last ping was at the hog farm. There are also people are saying things. I don't even want to repeat it about where the Fitbit was found. I am saying, but I don't think that's true, and I think that's that's just not a fact at all. And one person was saying, OMG, people, the Fitbit was not found. They got a warrant to pull information from it, and the last pinged location was at that pig farm. They supposedly found a red shirt about a mile from that farm as well, but haven't seen anything confirming that. And then another person did say a red shirt was found and confirmed by KCRG. I didn't see that. I didn't see KCRG report that they found the red shirt, but that's what this person was saying. And and staff where she works said they wore red shirts to work. Fitbit found by the barn is nothing I've been advised as released by anyone. No Fitbit was found in a barn, but I do believe I think maybe the last ping location was the hog farm, pig farm. I mean, there's a little bit, I think there's two locations. I think there's a hog farm, a pig farm, and then there's the pig farmer Wayne Chaney who lives very close by to that. I don't think. Let me play just a couple clips from the press conference, and then just sort of discuss some of the various pieces here, and it's all just speculation on what might have happened but it's very difficult to piece it all together, and it's how she just disappeared, So, but let me just play this first. And the audio is not the greatest. It was obviously very blurry. In fact, people in the comments were asking KCRG to fix their feed or whatever, but it's just the nature of things. So here it is. Here's the first question.
To you next Tuesday. At this time, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to address them. Yes, sir.
So, Ted Williams, Fox News. It has been reported that a red shirt has been found, and I was wondering, can you shed any light on whether a red shirt has been found and whether there is any kind of a nexus between the red shirt that may have been found and Mollie, and do you actually, at this stage, have any suspects?
I don't have any information with me today on a red shirt being found, and that's not to say that there was one found or not found. I just don't have that information. As far as suspects go, we continue to look at all possibilities. I'm not in a position right now to say we have suspects, we don't have suspects, persons of interest, or anything else.
Initially, it was reported by your agency and others that she was wearing black.
Here's where he's asked.
I can't explain that. But I'll look into that and get back to you. Pig farm. Give me your information.
Sir, is Wayne Chaney officially a suspect?
As I had mentioned previously, we're not in a position to say who is a suspect, who isn't a suspect, or that there are suspects.
Have you employed any divers to search Ariel Pond?
We have been searching ponds, fields, and even from the air. So we've been doing searches in many different manners. I don't have that information as far as if we're using divers. My assumption would be is if we're searching ponds, we're using divers.
Has there been any thought?
So, somebody made a comment yesterday, it's actually Rock Girl, about why just a shirt, if that's what they found. If that's confirmed, and we don't know that exactly, but like I said, the person in the comments said that KCRG had confirmed that. It was reported in Fox that they were at least brought out to that search location because somebody was mowing a ditch and had come across a red shirt that might be tied to Mollie Tibbetts. Why would it just be only that article of clothing that they found? And that's a good question, man. I just, I don't know, and I mean, between the two things, like whether it was somebody that's knew her or somebody that didn't know her, if they didn't know her, and I'm sort of leaning towards it's somebody that didn't know her. But part of I think a lot of people ask the question, how did they know? I mean, it would have had to be somebody that knew she would be alone in the house, and that she would be that she was there alone, dog sitting. But I mean, this is, I think, been going on all summer, in terms of her boyfriend maybe working at a different location in Dubuque. Basically, if somebody had been following her and sort of keeping an eye, watching her, they may have come to learn that that she was alone. In fact, the boyfriend left on Monday, and it was a couple days before this happened. So somebody who might have been watching her, knew she was alone. And then that same person might have by watching her, might have known what she wore to work, and so either that or it was just she had it laid out for work the next day in her room, by her bed, whatever. But I'd say more likely is that the person who, if it was somebody that was just watching her, they would have known, like I said, that the boyfriend would have been away and that's something she would have worn to work. And maybe they just grabbed that, knowing that they could, as a distraction. I don't know. I mean, it's tough to figure out, but to just review everything that, you know, she was, I believe, because, I mean, if she was taken with the red shirt on, you know, in the morning, I don't know. I mean, I just don't see that happening. She could have been fooled into getting into a car. Somebody offers a ride or whatever. But I just don't. I think something happened at the house and during the night. And, you know, I just don't see how this could have taken place in broad daylight. I don't. And, you know, it's very possible that somebody that was, you know, keeping an eye on her could have parked a ways away, you know, and walked up to the house in the middle of the night, not being detected at all. It's hard to know exactly. It's impossible to know. But the dogs were in the basement. That's normally where they would have been when nobody was home. You know, would she have put the dogs in the basement when she went to bed at night? I don't know. It's tough to know. I mean, again, he was asked, well, you know, was there a disturbance at the home? And the same thing with the boyfriend. The boyfriend has said he's been back to the home. He's been allowed back there, but he hasn't been in the room, the bedroom where she, you know, where she went missing. And he was asked, was there a sign of disturbance in the bedroom? You know, he said he hadn't even been in there. Not that he hadn't slept in there. And he couldn't comment on that. You know, sort of leads me to believe that there was a disturbance at the house, you know, based on them not. That's what I think. And I think it happened at the house. And I still don't know about the red shirt, and I kind of think it was somebody that was watching her and not somebody that knew her. And they just had figured out her routine. And I just don't know. I don't have anything else to go on right now. All right, that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. You know, they're going to be giving another press conference on Tuesday, I believe. And, you know, it's interesting. He actually commented on social media postings and whether or not, you know, that was appropriate or not. And he said it was actually okay, you know, okay, because they want to keep the story alive. But obviously he was saying that none of that is confirmed. None of it. And it doesn't, you know, none of it is necessarily true or not true. So, but I did find that was interesting, that just to keep as much of the public an interest in any information that they still might have, they just haven't realized, they don't realize that they still, you know, that they know something because they haven't thought of it and they haven't just put it together or even remembered it. You know, just keeping that alive is a good thing. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below. I'll see you in the next video, man. Hopefully she comes home. Later.